pretty sure Bregman has your DMs bugged. I send one DM about him not being a priority. And bang, Legacy Night. Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Astros, and I'm here to talk about Game 41 of the regular season, where the Astros win 9-2 to start their series against the Oakland Athletics, taking the first game in said series. And yeah, that's a pretty darn good way to start the series against them. I talked quite at length yesterday about the Astros really, if they want to accomplish much, needing to win this series. Needing to debatably sweep the series, and having also, I thought, against a team who you have long since been the greater of, winning 4 in a row against. Getting a real series sweep and not a little 2-game mini-series down in Mexico. And they started that off very well. The biggest shock to me was definitely Arrghetti. Good game. 5 strikeouts in 5 innings, 2 runs given up, couple of walks is all. But he's looked good. I think he has very slowly started to find his footing, which is great. If he could be even respectable out of the bullpen as long relief once the rest of the starters get healthy, I think that's a spot for him. I really do. And then the bullpen comes in, speaking of which, and they were great. You had 3 relievers go who were actually important. Montero looked pretty solid. Abreu looked really good. Presley was nerve-wracking, but fine. And then the Astros in the 7th and 8th inning throw 6 runs more on the board and just kind of end the game then. It was 3-2 going into that, by the way. So, it was still okay, well, it's not over yet. And then that happened, and it was totally over. And then you had Taylor Scott come in for the 9th inning, picks up 3 strikeouts. And the only base runner he allowed, they ruled it a hit, which, probably, but also it was just a little infield grounder. Bregman threw a little bit offline. Runner was kind of in the way. Singleton couldn't track the ball great. It was not a double. It was just a little infield guy that, a little error made him go over to second. Great inning out of Taylor Scott in the 9th inning. The pitching was fantastic. And the offense, borderline Alex Bregman, was also fantastic. Altuve had a hit and an RBI tonight, which is nice to see. Altuve's had a couple of games in a row where he's just not been what you've kind of hoped for and expected out of Jose Altuve. Not that that's been bad, because he's been bad over the course of a week now, which when you're still only 40 games into the season is a big stretch. Still batting .315. He's still having a really good season. I am not too concerned about that. Tucker had a pair of hits as well tonight. The big story is going to be Alex Bregman, who had a 3-hit night, 2 home runs, 4 total RBIs. He was unbelievable this evening. You also had Victor Caratini with a couple of RBIs, who's probably the sleeper of the season if I had to pick one for the Astros. Victor Caratini has flown totally under the radar, or I thought flew under the radar as a free agency pickup. I debated on not making a video for Victor Caratini. That's how not high I was on it. And he hasn't been this, all-star superstar. But, dude, he's just consistently been really, really solid for the Astros. He's been, great with the bat. Solid defensively. Up until John Singleton randomly decided to go on, this redemption arc, I thought him at first base was a totally viable option. But now I'm kind of happy with Singleton there. And if you just want to keep using Caratini as this great guy off the bench, that totally works for me. Also, almost forgot, and I simply cannot do that. You also had Yordan Alvarez cashing in a couple of base hits, which is good to see. Another player who's been kind of cold. Still has a nearly 800 OPS, and we're talking about him like the world is ending. Which, compared to normal Yordan Alvarez, technically the world kind of is ending because he's just been that freaking good over his career. This was a great way to start this series. It's a great way to follow up a big win yesterday. And now you have an opportunity already to guarantee at minimum a series split tomorrow night, because you take a game 1 in such dominating fashion. Tomorrow night at the same time, 8:10 Eastern, 7:10 Central, the Astros are going to send Ronel Blanco to the mound, who enters play with a 4-0 record. Good for Ronel Blanco. Debatably Rookie of the Year? That's going to be a fun debate that we can start on pretty soon. At least for the American League, Gunnar Henderson, or not Gunnar Henderson, Jackson Holiday didn't stick around too long. Right now, of the rookies, dude, I don't know. It could very well be Blanco at this moment in time. But he'll be on the mound for the Astros, and JP Sears will be on the mound for the Oakland A's. I'll be here afterwards to talk about that game tomorrow, but as for right now, that is all I have to say. If you enjoyed the video, please consider to like and subscribe. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and as always, go Astros.